for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 14. Thank you for joining us as always on this Not Easy Being Green Wednesday afternoon, Earth date August 6th, 2014. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me as always is my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
Cowabunga, dude.
Radical.
That's how they delivered the line, too.
Yes.
Cowabunga, dude.
That just...
Right as they very, very lazily skateboarded
Malaise
down a
turn,
mountain.
yeah.
Cowabunga. Let's get this radical villain.
So...
I'm sorry.
Our special episode today is going to be...
On Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Heroes in a Half Shell.
Turtle Power.
Turtle Power. We're going to be talking about Ninja Turtles.
Indeed we are.
My favorite cartoon growing up. Loved the Ninja Turtles.
Mine as well.
I mean, I enjoy the Ninja Turtles now. I did a bunch of research for this episode. I didn't go back and watch any of the old cartoons or anything, which I probably should have.
Yeah.
But I'm almost afraid to rewatch the cartoons and see if they don't hold up.
Right.
I kind of like holding them, in that sort of pristine box of where they were and not unwrap that box and maybe see the edges of time.
Right, yeah, I understand. I didn't have the chance to do much, well, I didn't do any research. Just didn't have a lot of time.
You either do no research or a shit ton of research.
I know. There's no in-between for me.
Yeah, really.
None.
Well, it's fine, because I've got some notes.
Right.
But really, I figure we're just going to bullshit about Ninja Turtles, because how awesome were they?
Indeed. So, just on the top of the show, do we want to go ahead and say what we got going on real quick?
We're doing a podcast. We're using
podcast.
microphones to record our voices.
We're going to be trying some pizza.
With anchovies.
Which neither one of us have had.
Have you ever had anchovies in any form?
I don't believe I have.
I've
I've
had
ever tried them.
Caesar dressing, which I enjoy. And Caesar dressing is made from anchovies.
Oh, does it?
Or it has anchovies in it, yeah.
Okay. Well, I've had Caesar dressing, so... But...
When I worked at Outback, they made their Caesar dressing in-house.
Okay.
And used actual anchovies. So it had more of a spicy, almost kind of a weird in the back of my mouth kick to it.
Okay.
So that's where I'm going in thinking anchovies, what they taste like.
Aren't they supposed to be particularly salty?
That's what I've heard. Particularly salty. Bree, my girlfriend, said going into this that anchovies are disgusting.
Right.
And that they are really salty and have a really strong fish taste.
Maybe I shouldn't have put pepperoni along with it.
Yeah, that's going to be just...
It's going to be salty.
So salty.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's
an homage, damn it.
Yeah, that's
what we're going to do.
It's what we do for our craft. I really have to say now, we're going to get to that a little later, but I am not excited about it. Anchovies just look disgusting. They smell gross. I haven't looked under the box yet to see it, I haven't looked at the pizza yet either.
Right now, it's in the ether for me. I have no idea.
I can't eat gross things, which sounds, stupid, because, well, of course, who can? But, how there are some people, on Fear Factor, people in real life, a guy we know, who, as a party trick, would just eat moths and bugs, spiders, just live, just hey, eat that. And he'd, without a second thought, just grab it and eat it. And I mean, they don't taste good.
Right.
But some people can just do that. I can't.
Yeah, I can't either.
So
my gag reflex has gotten very bad over the years.
I agree. Your gag reflex isn't that great anymore.
So let's talk a little bit about this past week, and then we'll jump into the Turtles.
Yeah. What have you been doing this past week?
I have been working on housework.
Nice.
Super exciting, I know, right?
Yeah, I know you've been working on stuff in your backyard, right? Or supposed to be working on stuff in your backyard?
Well, Ginger's dad and brother came and did some landscaping, and by did some landscaping, I mean...
We're out there for hours, right?
Rained hellfire down on the jungle that was our backyard.
Your backyard's looking good. It's unfortunate that by the time your stuff is done, it's probably going to be starting to get too cold to actually do something out there. Because you have a perfect backyard, and you still have a grill, right? Isn't there a grill out there?
Yeah, I don't know what the quality of the grill is, but you can buy a grill pretty cheap.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you already have a grill. Why would you buy another one?
It might be rusted out. I haven't even looked inside of it.
Yeah.
But I think the plan might be to have you and our resident stoner to come over Saturday and help me clean up the carnage.
Yeah, I'm planning on coming, and assuming he doesn't get lost along the way or find a stray animal to try to bond with, then yeah, we should get it done.
Yeah. They did that decimation in just about 2 hours. Her brother brought his sawzall out and cut down the holly tree, or bits and pieces of the holly tree. So it's looking a lot better.
What is a sawzall?
Sawzall. It's a very large handheld, usually plug-in. I think reciprocating. I think it's reciprocating saw.
Oh wait, so sawzall stands for saws all.
Saws
as if
all.
the things that it is capable of sawing are all of them.
Yes.
That's really what sawzall is?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
If you've ever seen it spelled,
no, I haven't.
it's saws.
I don't normally hang out in the sawzall chat rooms though.
Right, I understand.
So
you're not big on sawzalling.
I mean,
The art that is sawzalling.
I definitely don't sawzall professionally.
Right.
I mean, I dabble, in my free time as a hobby.
If you did, then you would have known that sawzall means
I'm a weekend sawzallist.
All right, what about you? Been doing anything exciting?
No, not really. I've been playing the same Minecraft mod I talked about last week.
That you didn't link still?
That I didn't link, yeah.
Everybody's disappointed in you about that.
I know. Everybody's disappointed in me about everything. I haven't been to my Sawzall group in weeks. I keep getting snail mail letters from them asking where I've been. And they're sawed in half already. I don't know if that's supposed to be a threat or what. But I'm getting them pre-sawed, which is just kind of insulting because it's like, you guys know I like to do this. Why are you pre-sawing my things?
Well, they're trying to get you back interested in it.
They're trying to say, I think they're threatening me. I think they're strong sawing me. No, I've been playing that. I've been playing that Minecraft mod. I've been doing a lot of housework too. Just trying to upkeep the house, clean it. We've still been dealing with mice, I mentioned weeks ago. So doing that. I've been trying to clean up our backyard a little bit too. I tried to grow peppers on my back porch, and it was a very failed experiment. It did not work. They grew to about the size of like a baby's fist, and then stopped turning green and turned red and are falling off and like look inedible. So
yeah. In Hearthstone news, the newest wing of Nax Ramus dropped.
This is the third wing?
Yes, this would be the third wing, but I haven't played it because I didn't have enough gold to buy it.
How short are you?
A little less than 300, I think.
No, because you can earn, doing side stuff, 100 gold a day? Roughly 50 to 100, depending on the mission.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. So I can't really speak on it.
Can you...
I did go in with my priest deck, and I can't remember if my priest deck is one that I built myself, or if it was
a pre-built or whatever.
Pre-built that I got off the internet. It very well might have been, because it's pretty strong, and I apparently can't build decks past a hunter deck and a paladin deck.
Yeah.
But I went in with it and cleared the newest content and the first wing heroic bosses with my priest deck, and I think 2 of the heroic bosses in the second content. So I was really excited about that.
Nice. Was it pretty simple too?
It's really funny because I might not be able to build a deck, but if you set me down and you ask me about strategy, I can just bust out some crazy strategy, and you're like, oh, I never would have seen that.
I'm the exact same way with Magic. If I sit down to build a deck, I have to build it, play test it, slowly change it over weeks and weeks to get something, most of the time that works well.
Yeah.
But I can sit down with somebody else who has a deck who's like, this isn't running, what should I do? And I can typically give them good, like, oh, switch that out and do this, you know?
So I can't really do so much of the switching out, but if playing with what I have, I do really well.
Yeah.
So I was really proud of myself because the first heroic game that I played, my opening hand was butter, and from every card that I drew was money.
You gotta love that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's just like having sex, but only playing with digital cards on a computer and not actually having sex.
I've heard sex is pretty good. I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, neither would I. Listeners, if you happen to know what sex is like and want to leave us a comment and let us know, we'd appreciate it.
Be as graphic as possible.
Yeah. Especially because we're an open group, we definitely,
Yeah.
Facebook would never ban anything for being graphic.
No. I think
as long as you're not posting a picture, it's all right.
I think the page is actually set to 17 and older
Oh, really?
groups. Yeah. Since we say fuck so much,
Do we?
probably.
Yeah.
I said it just now.
I say it a lot.
Yeah.
I curse a lot.
Since we have no qualms about cursing on this podcast,
Yeah.
I decided to go ahead and at least show an inkling of responsibility and make it 17 and
Yeah, that's probably better, because once we get on iTunes, we'll have to have an explicit tag anyway.
Yeah. I did do a version of the logo that has a...
Penis in it? Like the two ogres and we're just sharing a big double cock? Like, if somebody were to cut off their penis... and then like a starfish, it just grew another penis out of the severed end with no balls. Or maybe like two balls shared that they kind of rock on to move. Is that where you were going with that? You're looking at me like I'm wrong.
Well, I'm fascinated that you remember so much from your time as a dildo engineer.
Yeah.
So...
I'm a jack of many trades. As long as those trades involve dildos.
I guess that would make you a jack of one trade.
No, there's a lot of different dildo-related things you can do. I mean, I don't have time to get into this now. It's amazing, though, with as much as I cuss, and as vulgar as some of the stuff is that comes out of my mouth, how I have this switch built in when I've worked restaurant jobs,
Right.
dealing with customers, or especially when I'm around my daughter. I don't cuss around her at all.
Uh-huh.
It's just amazing how I just have this switch where I can turn it off and not do it. Or around my parents, too. I don't cuss. I might drop a, damn or a hell here and there, oh, that really pissed me off. But that's, very rare that I do.
Right. I think everybody does. When we feel comfortable enough in a situation to cuss, then we will do so. But if we are in a situation like we're hanging out in church,
Yeah.
or, where...
Oh, man, Jesus is fucking ripped.
Man, that blood is so wicked fucking awesome.
I bet that shit hurt.
Yeah. Damn.
What do you think about cussing around kids? Cussing around a kid that you raised? Did your parents cuss when you were raised?
Yeah.
I have a feeling they did, yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Well, I'm saying that the short time that I lived with you, and even growing up in junior high, whenever I would go over to your mom's house, you would hear cuss words.
Yeah.
Your mom would say some pretty foul stuff sometimes.
My mom could make a sailor blush.
Seriously.
Yeah. And probably has.
So do you think it's an issue to cuss around kids? Do you think it's a case-by-case basis? Because, I don't think it would be a problem cussing around my daughter a little bit.
Right.
And I'm not saying that I've never dropped a cuss word.
Right.
There was one time where I was getting on her about something. I don't remember what it was, but it really upset her. And I didn't catch it until after it came out of my mouth, but I was talking to her and I was like, honey, look, you gotta understand, I'm just trying to help you and keep you safe. I'm not trying to be a dick. And she, because she hasn't heard it, to her being 7, she just hears it as oh, Dad just said, something.
Yeah.
It probably didn't even register to her that that's a cuss word.
Yeah.
So in one way, I think it's better, if I cuss all the time, and my trade basically right now is doing this podcast, I cuss all the time.
Yeah.
That's just kind of who I am. And I think raising my daughter around me cussing all the time, eat your fucking SpaghettiOs, you little cunt.
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying I wouldn't do.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. What do you think? You obviously have a bit of a different opinion because you were raised differently than I was. My parents, the only time I heard my parents cuss was when I was in trouble.
Right.
I've heard my dad say the word fuck 10 times in my entire 30 years of life.
Yeah. I think, to curse like a sailor in front of your kid is tacky, I would say. Dropping some occasionally where it's not directed to your kid, maybe they just overhear you on the phone say shit or something to that effect. But as far as I go, I try not to cuss around kids if I can help it.
If you were to have kids at some point, would you watch your mouth?
Oh, yeah, to a certain extent.
Because, you don't really cuss a whole lot in everyday life. You definitely cuss, and maybe because I'm so dull to it, I don't notice it as much. But you seem like you definitely curse less than I do. Could you say that?
we would have to do a study and pay attention to what
Like we
each other
both
are
carry
saying.
like one of those little click counters,
click
and
counters.
click it every time we curse.
Well, we
throughout
just
the
have to
day.
actually pay attention to each other because we just talk at each other just to hear our voices.
What was that? Huh?
Where am I? What are we doing? Oh, a podcast, right?
I know. I do think it's tacky. To me, hearing an 8, 9, 10, even up to like 12-year-old kid cussing is just like, ugh. Like you learn that from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think it would just be hard for me, and that's why I haven't really done it and why I probably won't. I think it would be hard for me to explain to a 7-year-old or even an 8-year-old or whenever that these are words that are okay. Because my opinion is they're just words. You know, who cares?
Right.
But these are words that you can say sometimes, but a lot of people hear you say these words and immediately think you're dumb or think you're trashy, you know?
Yeah.
I tried to take a step back a little bit after our first couple of podcasts when I heard how much I cussed.
Uh-huh.
And it just like, I know my intention, but listening as a third party, I felt like it almost sounded like I was trying to cuss or say fucked up things just for the sake of shock.
Yeah.
And I hate that kind of humor. I hate shock for the sake of shock.
Yeah. I don't notice, when I'm editing, I don't notice the cussing so much, but I notice things like saying like a lot.
For me?
Yes.
Yeah, I do say like a lot.
Yeah.
And in what way?
As you're talking, you like say that when things are like happening.
And then he
you'll be
like whipped it out.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I do. Well, I'm actually a post-op Valley girl. So,
Oh man, we got
That
to play
explains
some
a lot.
Frank Zappa now. Valley girl, she's a valley girl. Okay, fine, for sure, she's a do-do-do-do-do-do valley girl.
not-
You've never heard that?
no.
Oh man.
I've never been a big Zappa fan, I guess.
I'm not a huge Zappa fan, but I mean, that's a fun song, like Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witches.
You know, that's where the actual Valley Girl thing came from, was that song.
I'd believe it.
That song, and then they made the movie Valley Girl,
Yeah.
kind of based around the song, and then that's where kind of the Valley Girl culture of like, right, whatever, came
Oh my
from.
god.
He actually, in interviews, Frank Zappa has said that that's one of his major career regrets, is that song inspired that.
Nice.
So Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. No segues here, friends.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
What's your history with them?
I grew up watching Turtles.
As we both did.
Right. I cannot remember the time slot that it came on.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was created in 1984
Uh-huh.
in Dover, New Hampshire by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
Yes.
That was the comic.
Yes.
And then the cartoon ran from 87 to 96.
Right.
So, I mean, I must have caught some of the cartoon in reruns because my memory of my childhood starts at like 7 maybe.
Uh-huh.
And I was born in 84. You were born in what, 83?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no way I could remember watching the 87 Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. What I recall from it, I think the biggest thing that I recall is April O'Neil. Just right off the top of my head.
Like having a crush on her or just...
Yeah, I would say probably having a crush on her. I just remembering that revealing yellow jumpsuit.
So
that
you're
she had
saying
on.
you're like 5 stroking it to April O'Neil?
Yes.
That's fucked up.
Hey,
I mean, I guess I'm not here to judge.
that's right. I've always been sexually active.
Ugh. That's an entirely different podcast. I don't think we want to do.
We don't.
Yeah, I never really thought of April O'Neil as a sex symbol. When I was searching April O'Neil last week when we thought we were going to shoehorn it in, that cosplay of that girl dressed like April O'Neil,
Yeah.
though, Jesus Christ. Just search April O'Neil Google Images and it pops up as like the 3rd or 4th picture of a girl cosplaying it.
Yeah,
That's an April O'Neil I can get behind.
literally.
But,
Yes, her butt.
yeah, her buttocks. But yeah, finish with what you're saying real quick.
I remember that I had a lot of toys. I had the Turtle Van. I had a Baxter Stockman. I had all of the Turtle figurines. I remember the figurines, and they might still, but the weapons would come in this punch-out
Yeah.
grid.
And they were such a pain in the ass to
Yeah.
break. Did you ever notice that every Ninja Turtle came with that weird weapon that looked like it had a handle and then it was hooked and then went up straight?
Yeah.
All of them had that. I never knew what it was. I found out later that it's a kind of it's called a something hooked sword.
Okay.
I can't remember. Did you play Mortal Kombat ever?
Yeah.
Do you remember Cabal? He had like a gas mask on, and he fought with 2 hooked swords.
Yeah.
That's what those were.
Huh.
I didn't realize. I never even broke them out. I thought, like, why would I give them the weapon that don't come with? That's stupid.
Exactly.
And like those little shuriken that you would either break trying to get out, or you would immediately lose.
Yeah, those things were a pain in the butt. And if you couldn't break them out, you had to take them to your parents to have them, like, cut it out with a X-Acto knife.
Yeah.
Box cutter or something to that effect. I had a Bebop and Rocksteady. I had the Metalhead figurine. And that's the one I was telling Tonray about, who was going to be here, but he ended up having to work, which I was very disappointed. He was really disappointed about it.
Yeah.
I was telling him about that because he said he had ordered some figurines from the original run in boxes.
Was Metalhead the one that had like the chrome shine to it?
Yeah, he had the chrome shine.
And he has a hole on his head.
Yeah, you have one at home.
Yeah, I have one on my bookshelf.
Yeah, and
with an original mouser.
Yeah, you can shine the light into his head and the eyes glow. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
That toy technology right there. That was the pinnacle.
Just
of
really
toy
simple. It's like
Yeah.
put some clear plastic in his head, mold the rest of it around it.
So good.
That was an awesome toy.
Yeah. I remember I had, you know how there was Polly Pocket for girls?
Yeah.
Well, they released some properties for boys that were...
Mighty Max.
Was that what it was?
Mighty Max, Mighty Max. Yeah, it was male Polly Pocket. I had a couple of them, like a skull head and like a big spider that opened up, and it was an awesome toy.
Well, they had a... What was the dome that Krang...
Technodrome?
Yeah, the Technodrome. They had one of those that was a Polly Pocket, sort of.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I had that, and that was sweet. And it would roll around.
I'm jealous of the turtle van.
Yeah.
I never had the vehicles. I had a motorcycle.
Somebody, I can't remember who it was, one of my nephews, I think, got a turtle van for Christmas last year, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost the exact same design as the original one. And I got to put it together because they didn't know how to put it together. And I was like,
nice.
Yeah, this, you would lift the lid on the top and that would release the door that would
And then it would open
out.
up kind of like a playset, right?
No. This was just the van. So you could sit the turtles inside of it.
Yeah,
and drive
but
them
when you
around.
lifted the lid, the like wall would kind of fall down like a ramp and then it would be open to move them around inside?
No, the side door of the van would spring open. And it had a little ramp on that door that would release 2 canisters. It also had a shield that would drop down over the windows that had like a gun inside of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that from seeing the toy.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any of the turtles that came with the goo?
No, I never had any
I had
that I can recall.
1, maybe 2 of them before my parents stopped getting them for me because my mom is a very clean person, I guess I could say.
Right.
And she just hated the fact that I had that goo. It was like Nickelodeon gack almost, but like greasy.
Yeah.
It was like super oil based and kind of like thinking about it now, it's gross. If you were to dump it out on a piece of paper, when you picked it up, there would be a grease stain on that piece of paper.
If I can remember, I will link a video on how to make that shit.
Gack or that goo?
That goo.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can totally... It's a fairly simple thing. You use borax, if I remember correctly, and something else. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, super awesome. I'll try and link a video on that.
I was hugely into Ninja Turtles. That was entirely my thing growing up. That was my big obsession for a good portion of my life, probably up to like 12 or 13 before I started getting into Star
Pokemon?
Wars. Well, I got into Star Wars first from junior high, but yeah, I got into Pokemon a lot.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my paper route money on Japanese import Pokemon toys. There's nothing lame about that.
No,
Fuck
totally
you.
not.
Turn your judgy eyes away from me, Remington. But yeah, I had a disgusting amount of Ninja Turtles. Like, you know those big Tupperware containers, the ones that are like probably 3 foot tall?
Yeah.
Filled with that. I managed to lose it somehow just in my parents, moving it to the attic, into the storage building, and I think maybe at one point, because I've moved all around, and I moved out of state for a while, I think maybe they gave some of them away, and either don't remember or don't want to tell me.
Yeah.
But I recently, within the last 6 months, found a small Tupperware container of some of those toys.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. My parents have started to, now that I'm settled in a place and they know I'm going to be there for a while, have started to just, almost every time I go over, they're like, hey, here's some more of your stuff. And just giving me books and just shit that I'm like, God, I don't want this.
Right.
So I tried to go through and clear out some of my Ninja Turtles toys, and I gave a pretty decent sized bag away to a guy I know with kids, but I kept a lot of them still.
Right. The toy story that I remember most vividly is I've always been a maker, even when I was a kid. I'd love to tear things apart and make things out of stuff. So I had taken a butter tub and cut a hole out of the lid.
Did you make it a sewer?
No. And some cellophane from an envelope.
Okay.
Put that over top of it and taped it down. And then I took it with me. We used to go on the river a lot. I took it with me out on the river, and we'd go over to the island, and I can't remember what island it is, but it's not Blennerhassett, but the other one that's floating around out there. I took it out to the island and took it out to the river. It was my turtle submarine. I was telling you about this the other day on the phone, and we lost connection, and I just never called you back.
Yeah. Well, I didn't call you back either. So, I think maybe my phone died.
Yeah.
Or I just decided, God damn, I've had enough of this guy.
That's usually the case.
Yeah.
But I had taken that out into the river, and the current grabbed it and sucked it under, and it was never heard from again.
Did you have turtles in it?
Yep. I had 2 turtles inside of it.
How old were you?
I don't remember.
So you're like 8 on the edge of the bank, just cursing the river?
Yes. Damn you, Poseidon! Taketh my turtles away!
Yeah, I never had any of the big play sets. It was such a lament. I remember one year, and this is one of my 2 Ninja Turtle stories I have to tell. One year for Christmas, I got the sewer and above ground play set.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about? It was like half of it was above ground with half a building and like a street lamp with you could hook the turtles to it and they would zip line down.
Yeah.
And then the other half was the sewer, and there was some revolving doors, and I think there was a little elevator you could like bloop and lift them up through the manhole cover.
Right.
Well, I got one of those for Christmas. I was super fucking excited. So it took me like a few days before my parents would even let me open it, because they were kind of like, I think their reasoning was, and I guess it sort of makes sense now that I have a kid of my own, is I would open my Christmas presents and I could open one of them out of the box and play with it. And then maybe a couple of days after I'd gotten tired of that one, I could open another one.
Okay.
You know, and I think that they just didn't want to deal with having to set it up.
Right.
I think that was really more than anything else. They're just like, God damn it, I don't want to set that up. So I open it, and there's a part of it I can't get to work right. It's the zip line. Because it was kind of like, you know, in the game Mousetrap, how you would kind of precariously put the net on top that would catch the mouse, and it was like ridged. And if you didn't put it exactly right, it would go off by itself and like down. Well, the zip line was kind of like that, and I couldn't get it to work. And I tried and I tried and I tried, and I couldn't figure out how to get it to work. So I went to my dad, and my dad looked at it for like 2-3 minutes, couldn't get it to work, and then boxed it back up and returned it to the store. Ever since then, I've wanted one of those so bad, and it would just take up space. I don't know what I'd do with it.
Right.
But I'm like, I want it so bad.
I'm going to get one just to spite you.
Yeah, I know, because you're a son of a bitch. And I mean, it does have a happy ending in a way that he returned it. I got to keep the money, and with that money, I bought the Ninja Turtles 3 game for Nintendo.
Nice.
Which was a really good game.
Yeah.
It doesn't get great reviews, but I had a lot of fun with it. So I at least got something out of it.
The game that I remember playing the most was Turtles in Time.
See, I don't remember playing that one.
Oh my gosh. If I can ever get the Retrograders off the ground.
Well, we have a YouTube channel now, so I think that...
So the Retrograders, well, I'll probably do a different one for that. I had the thought that one of our buddies came over and brought a Raspberry Pi that is basically a mini computer for those of you who don't know. And he had loaded all kinds of... ROMs onto it, and he had Turtles in Time, and we played through the entire game.
That's awesome.
And it was so much fun. He had a USB thing that would split off into actual controllers. You'd use controllers.
What kind of controllers were you using for it?
SNES.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's super sweet. Yeah,
that's cool that it even had the hookup for an SNES controller.
No. It doesn't have the hookup for it. It's an adapter. You plug it in through USB, and then you can map the buttons for the controller.
But you were using an actual SNES controller. So how were you hooking that into the computer?
That would go into the peripheral, and then the peripheral would plug in via USB.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's cool that the peripheral had a thing built in to accept an SNES controller.
Well, that's what it's made for, period.
Yeah, it's just really cool.
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't following what
you're apparently not following. We're saying the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's a controller that plugs in through USB. Through another peripheral.
We have video going on now, so people can see how much I chain smoke while we record these.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
My other Ninja Turtle story to tell real quick, and this kind of ties in with the pizza thing, is whenever I was younger, my bedroom was upstairs, the TV was downstairs. So I would sit down every day or every weekend whenever it came on, I don't remember, and I would have my 4 main Ninja Turtles. I never had a Shredder, and I never had a normal Raphael, because he was my least favorite character.
Okay.
I had a bajillion Raphaels of, like, surfing Raphael and, monster movie Raphael, but never a
Right.
standard Raphael.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting down there and I have the 4 turtles, and then during the first commercial break, they tease that Metalhead is going to be on the episode.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, fuck, I have a Metalhead toy. So I run upstairs, right? I run upstairs and my mom stops me, because it's probably around lunchtime or something. And she's like, Bo, come here, I want you to try something. And she takes me out into our, at the time, screened-in porch that they had at my parents' house.
Right.
And I wanted to get my Metalhead toy, but I'm like, okay. And I was a really picky eater as a kid. I'm less now, but I'm still a pretty picky eater. So she wants me to try a grape.
Okay.
Because I've never had grapes before. And I, as like, however old I was at the time, I don't want to try it at all. And I'm crying, and she's getting more irritated and is like, you're not going downstairs until you eat this.
Yeah.
All I had to do, real quick, like, oh shit, I got 2 minutes of commercials, pop a grape, yum num num, gross, go get my toy, done. I'm up there on the porch for like 30, 45 minutes, just crying and I won't eat it.
Throwing a fit.
And throwing a fit. And I'm not allowed to leave until I eat this grape. So finally I do. I put the grape in my mouth, I chew it. It's disgusting to me, or I'm just a kid and I'm like, I don't care if it's good or not. I've made this much of a stink. I don't like it. I don't want it. So I chew it for a second and then I spit it out into my hand, tears streaming down my face.
Okay.
At that exact moment, my mom snaps a picture of me, develops it, frames it, and to this day has that picture framed in her house.
Holy crap, we have to get that.
I may
Please.
scan it and post it.
Please.
It has been, and since then, it's been a running joke with all of my siblings and my mom and dad. Hey, you want to try a grape? You want to try a grape, Bo? Shut up.
You'll never hear the end of
I
it.
seriously, I will be on my deathbed, and my siblings will be around me and will offer me grapes.
They will lay a bunch of grapes on your chest in your casket. If they don't, by God, I will. Because I don't know who's going to live longest, you or me.
Yeah.
Because of your past history and my past history, he said as he grabs his belly.
I think I am inactive enough and I drink enough coffee during the day that my heart is going to give out at some point, and the pack-a-day smoking too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that picture, running joke, right? Cut to like 5-6 months ago, I'm at my parents' house and I have my daughter with me, and my mom has a big bowl of grapes. My daughter is eating grapes. She's eating green grapes, which was the exact same kind of grape my mom gave me.
Right.
And my daughter eats a couple and is like, here, Dad, want to try one? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, if I'm eating them, you have to, right? Because that's kind of the rule when I have her for the night, is like, look, what I'm eating, you're eating. That's how dinner works.
Right.
So she's got me on a fucking technicality. So, I mean, I'm, like, running through my brain, like, all right, what can I do? There's got to be a way I can get out of this. But, I mean, she's looking at me with giant, innocent kid eyes, and I take the grape, and I'm looking at it, and my mom is there in the kitchen. And you know that meme of Willy Wonka, where he's, like, hand on his chin and is looking at you, and they use it for, like, oh, so you say you're Republican or whatever bullshit they do?
Yeah.
She has got that exact look of just, like, yeah, eat it.
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, eat that grape.
Yeah. So I eat it, and it was just as disgusting. But she's eating it. My daughter is so picky also.
Yeah.
That she's eating grapes, and this was maybe like the 3rd or 4th time maybe she'd ever eaten them. So I'm trying to encourage her to eat different things. So she's watching me, and I'm like, and it's just, still can't do it. It's just the texture, Like the fact that they're squishy but not, and the skin is there, and it's just, I don't know.
Man.
So yeah, those are my two major Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stories.
That's good. I love that. I hope to God that you decide to get that picture.
I can just take a picture with my iPod and take it out. I know my mom still has it framed because inevitably every girl I bring home sees that picture.
Has Bree seen it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, my mom loves showing that picture to people. I mean, it's still framed.
You would think that I would have seen it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't, because all through high school when you would come over, it was on the fucking mantle.
Yeah, well, when I was younger, I didn't really pay much attention to stuff around people's houses.
Yeah, which is hilarious, because I brought up to my mom before, in jest, sort of, but I'm like, do you think it's weird that you have a photo of a crying child? I mean, at that time, I was traumatized. I just wanted to bring down Metalhead and let him play with my turtles while I was watching it. I had to eat food I didn't like. I missed the fucking episode. We didn't have a VCR or anything at the time to tape it. Like, that was, for a while, that was a shitty memory. And now, that I've grown up looking back, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But
wow, that's
it was
awesome.
just funny that my mom had this framed picture. And I mean, like, she got it developed and framed it within, like, 3-4 days of that and had it framed immediately. Awesome. Thought it was funny. So telling that goes into why I'm not excited to try anchovy pizza.
Right.
For that exact reason of trying something new. I'm just something new that's notoriously disgusting to a lot of people.
Right. So we should probably actually get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast. I think we've been talking for a really long time now.
I think we did. Ninja Turtles, causing children to cry since 1991.
So, the memories that I remember the most about the Turtles, and it may just be because of watching the movies as an adult, but rewatching the movies, the puppetry in those movies are just awesome.
Yeah. The puppetry was done by the Creature Shop, Jim Henson's studio.
Yep. They were
Jim Henson worked on those.
Yep.
And said at the time they were the most technically advanced puppets he'd ever worked on.
That's cool.
I don't know if it was after the second or the third one, but they stopped working with the Creature Shop because Jim Henson didn't approve of how violent the movies were.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes sense. He was a very non-violent man.
Yeah.
Now, in the new movie, they are digital creatures in a real world, but they put...
Aren't we all, buddy?
They put the actors in mocap suits. So they're running around on set in mocap suits with these cameras and lights hanging in front of their faces to capture their facial expression as well, so that they can map those to the turtles when they do them.
Nice.
Yeah, the technology is super sweet.
I am not looking forward to the new movie.
Yeah.
I think I might have said this last week. If not, I'll repeat it. I'm trying to have a different outlook on life. I know I've mentioned this multiple times. And trying not to just immediately look at something and shit on it, because that's my normal state. It's just like, that sucked, fuck that, on anything new. So I'm trying to look at the Ninja Turtles movie and say, alright, produced by Michael Bay. It's not directed by him.
Right. Don't
like the look of the turtles, really. Donatello looks badass, though. Especially in that picture you put on our cover photo with, like, the big night vision goggles and shit on. He looks cool.
Yeah.
But it's just like the trailer... Just so many fucking explosions and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I don't know.
It's directed by Jonathan Liebsman, and it stars Megan Fox, Will Arnett, William Fichtner, Alan Ritchson plays Raphael, Noel Fisher plays Michelangelo, Peter Plotzik plays Leonardo, but Johnny Knoxville does the voice for him. Jeremy Howard does Donatello. Tony Shalhoub voices Splinter, but Splinter is played by Danny Woodburn. And it also has Whoopi Goldberg in it.
Did you see the trailer with Whoopi Goldberg?
Yeah.
There's a really funny joke in there.
I would have to rewatch it.
Do you remember there was... When Michael Bay first announced the Ninja Turtles movie, and this was close to a year ago, I think, he said that they're aliens.
Yeah.
That's where the movie was coming from. And the fan reaction, because people were already like, Michael Bay's doing it.
Yeah.
And they were all super shitty about it. And I was kind of in the same boat. Again, like, I wasn't super excited about a new Turtles movie anyway.
Yeah.
Because, like, something I've realized as I've got older is any remake of something that you loved from your childhood is never going to be as good.
Right.
And a lot of times, even the stuff you liked as a kid isn't that good on rewatch.
Right.
About a year or so ago, I rewatched the first Ninja Turtles movie, and it really wasn't that great. It was still good, but it just wasn't, like, as fucking awesome as I remember it being.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the target audience anymore, Yeah. 10-year-old me, or however old I was at the time, loved it.
Yeah.
So you can say that this movie is geared towards kids, and it probably is, but what's the rating on it? Can you see? Is it PG, PG-13? PG-13.
PG-13.
Yeah. See, that's crazy. I mean, you know, you can bring a 10-year-old to a PG-13 movie, whatever. There might be one fuck. Guarantee there's not the word fuck in there, but, you know, probably because of violence and stuff. And, you know, maybe Megan Fox getting double teamed by Michelangelo and Leo. But besides, you know, as long as it's tastefully done, you can get that PG-13 rating.
Right. Well, they're not humans, so it's okay.
I mean, that makes it bestiality then, really.
Yeah.
Really avant-garde kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The movie from the trailer looks like just constant explosions and blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, that's usually how they do an action movie trailer, is constant explosions, no real storyline going on.
Yeah, I just think if they make a Ninja Turtles movie, and I haven't really seen this yet in any Ninja Turtles product, they should play up the ninja aspect of it a little more.
Yeah.
You know? Like, this looks like it's going to be constant, like, fucking kicking through a window and throwing a dude out of a building and machine guns for some reason. And
right.
Somebody is going to say, we got to get the shell out of here, though. They would have to, right?
Yeah, it's a prerequisite.
I think doing a Ninja Turtles... and the Ninja Turtles they don't look like teenagers. And I mean, I know I'm just nitpicking, you know, bullshit right now, but that's what I wanted to do with this podcast, was kind of nitpick at the things in the movie. They don't look like teenagers, you know? I mean, Raphael looks like 7 foot fucking something.
They're mutant turtles.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we stand
either.
differently
on
this one. I just don't
I've never seen the turtles look truly teenagery. So.
In the movie, in like the 90s movies, they were like 5 foot something. They were not tall.
Yeah, they weren't particularly tall, but the only time that the computer animated series, that design, looks very teenagery. But that's the only time I've ever seen the turtles look truly teenagery.
Yeah, and I guess maybe it would be tough to do that when you've got the costumes and stuff. But I mean, shit, if this is all mocap anyway, they can make them look like whatever they want. I got off topic real quick, though. The joke in the trailer I was talking about.
Yeah.
He announced that they were going to be aliens. Fans flipped their shit over it. So finally, he went back on it and was like, all right, well, that's not what I meant, but I'll change it anyway. Grumble, 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 grumble. So in the trailer, there's a scene where Whoopi Goldberg is talking to Megan Fox and she says, like, oh, so they're teenagers that are mutant ninja turtles or whatever. And Whoopi Goldberg goes, oh, so they're aliens? And Megan Fox goes, no, that would be stupid.
I thought that was Will Arnett that says it.
No, it's Megan Fox it's Whoopi Goldberg to Megan Fox.
Okay.
And that has to have been added afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, to pointedly put that scene in the trailer too has to be stupid. Has to be kind of turtles. Okay, we get it.
To her credit, she sold that line really well.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, that would be stupid. They're turtles.
Yeah. So what do you think of the movie? Are you excited to see it? Are you planning on seeing it?
I don't plan to see any movies anymore. That shit is expensive.
I'm going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy this weekend, hopefully.
Oh, yeah?
I'm super excited about that. If you're free Saturday and want to come.
Well,
I think you work, but...
I work in the morning, but I'd want to bring Ginger. I think she wants to see it as well. And we have free movie tickets that we got for Christmas that we have yet to use.
Maybe Sunday, because you're off Sunday, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm off Sunday.
This thrilling podcasting, making plans on air.
So what do you want to do this weekend,
Well, I was going to go with Cody,
so
maybe Sunday we can all go.
Yeah.
Because Bree isn't
if I can find him, sure.
Bree isn't super excited to see it. She wants to see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which looks really good, too.
Yeah. I still haven't seen the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have a Blu-ray player?
Yes.
I can let you borrow it. We have it. It's really good. I've never seen the original Planet of the Apes.
I have.
It isn't something that really struck me as something I'd really give a shit about. I mean, I don't really watch a whole lot of movies anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the first Planet of the Apes, it's really good. Like, way better than I even expected it to be.
Yeah.
So, you're not planning... Like, would you buy the movie when it came out on DVD? Or Blu-ray or whatever?
I would watch it on, like, Netflix or, you know...
So, you would watch it if you didn't have to pay for it?
Pretty much.
Is basically what you're saying.
Pretty much.
I want to go see it in theaters. I'm not excited about it, really. But, again, it's one of those things that's just like, prove me wrong, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I can go with that mentality of a child again and just, like, try to revert back to 10-year-old Brandon that loved that stuff. And go in with that viewpoint.
Yeah.
Instead of going in, you know, as the kind of pessimistic adult that I am now of, like, April O'Neil did not look like that.
Right. We were researching it last week, and I thought talking hard. April O'Neil was a redhead.
Yeah.
You proved me wrong on that.
She's like kind of a auburn brunette.
Yeah,
It's right on borderline red. So, I mean, fair enough. I can see why you would think that.
Yeah. I always thought it was a brighter red than that, so.
I'm curious to see whether they're going to do Splinter in the original comic series, because I guess we didn't get into that, but Ninja Turtles was originally a comic.
Yes.
It was self-published by Eastman and Laird from income tax money and a loan.
Okay.
They self-published it, and they put it out at a local comic convention in their area of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And it just got a lot of popularity, partially because of the novelty of it.
Uh-huh.
It was made as a parody comic. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They were parodying Frank Miller's really dark kind of stuff at the time. Ronin, Batman Returns,
right.
Stuff like that. And Daredevil. I think Frank Miller, it might not have been Frank Miller who did it, but Daredevil at the time was super dark too.
Yeah.
But they used a lot of that money to advertise in big comic stuff.
Uh-huh.
So they published the comic and it was just printed out on paper. Well, it's printed out on paper, but you know what I mean. Like, they printed it themselves.
Yeah.
And then they ran one in the Overstreet Price Guide, a full-page ad, and got, like, a lot of word of mouth because of that. So a lot of people kind of descended on this local Comic-Con just to pick this up.
Huh.
They had, like, 3,300 to 3,500 copies printed and sold out all of them.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Those are apparently really high collector items now.
I'm sure. The design of the turtles way back then, because they did it in a brainstorming session.
Yeah.
They were just fiddling around with different ideas and decided to make a turtle a ninja.
They all looked... The turtles at the time all looked the same.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you know anything about Ninja Turtles, you probably know kind of some of this basic stuff we're talking about here. They all had red bandanas. They didn't have their colors. That was added later to differentiate them.
Yeah.
Better for television and stuff.
Yeah.
It was also super dark. In the first, 2 or 3 issues, they kill Shredder. Like, Shredder's just done. They straight up kill him.
Huh. No, I didn't know.
They confront him on a roof, and it's basically they tell him either you commit seppuku or we kill you.
Huh.
And I think that they killed him. I don't think that he actually committed seppuku. I think they just killed him.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, also Baxter Stockman in those... You remember Baxter Stockman, the guy who turned into a fly eventually? Yeah. He was black in the original comics.
Yeah.
And then he's been black in some of the cartoons now, too.
Yeah.
He was changed to white in the late 80s, early 90s cartoon.
Because we were all racists.
No, because they didn't want to be perceived as racist. Because they thought either making the villain as the only African-American or making an African-American being ordered around by Shredder would be perceived as racist. So that's why they changed him to white.
Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense.
Baxter Stockman is one of those toys that I've wanted forever. It's like my white whale of toys.
Oh, really?
Because I had a Baxter Stockman. There was a kid that lived close to me growing up, and I would trade toys with him.
Yeah.
I would just fucking rip him off so much. Like, he would have, not steal from him or anything, but I would have a toy he would want. I would know, this toy, my grandma got it for me. That toy your mom bought you 2 days ago, and it was $25.
Right.
But I'll trade you if you want, and I'd do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I got a Baxter Stockman off of him, like the half-fly, sort of werewolfy looking Baxter Stockman, and he didn't have wings.
Yeah.
So I've never had a Baxter Stockman that's had the snap-in wings because they're so easy to lose.
Yeah.
So that's something I've wanted forever. All right, I was trying to put it off. Do you want to try this pizza?
Yeah. All right. So we will try our pizza, and since we are recording video of this, we will probably take a snippet of the video of us eating anchovies on a pizza.
Yeah, I figure we can just maybe put the snippet up on YouTube for now and then see, because honestly I think listening to the podcast is fine. I just don't know if there's any interest there in watching a video of us sit in place. They can see how much I gesticulate. Especially when I was talking about the hang gliding on the sewer.
Yeah.
Spitting the grape.
I have found that I really enjoy watching podcasts that I started listening to moreover than listening to them.
Well, I guess it's not going to hurt to put the whole thing up anyway.
Right.
Ugh, God.
Here it comes. And it's cold, too.
Yeah, it's been sitting for 2 hours now.
Yeah.
So we figured, like we said, since...
they're just one giant fish on each slice.
Neither of us have tried anchovies before, we'd try this. Should we pause for a second and microwave our pieces so at least they're hot?
No, it's too late now.
No? No going back?
No.
Alright. Yeah, it's just
they sliced this.
Well, we got from a local pizza place, and the local pizza place is notoriously, not very good. Some people like it. I think their pizza's alright, but it's like kind of cheap. It's kind of a grody place, but you know, it's the cheapest place you can get pizza around here.
It was the only place that we found that had anchovies.
Yeah, so he asked them if they could do anchovies on just a quarter of the pizza.
Right.
Which I'm sure is a really irritating request, but they wouldn't. So we ended up having to go with anchovies on half. And there's like 5 anchovies on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see the spine.
Oh, weird. Ah, so weird.
Alright, do you move it where you're gonna get a bite?
Yeah.
Got my drink ready to wash this if it's gross.
Don't smell it. I'll smell it, but don't smell it.
I'm not gonna smell it.
Yeah, it's definitely got a fishy odor to it.
Yeah.
And all right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking gross.
I'm not really getting any.
It fell off, and I pushed it up with my tongue.
I'm getting a faint fishiness in the back of my throat, but I'm not really getting hit with it.
Well,
I'm just going to eat one straight and see how that is. Oh my god. That is so salty and fishy.
Ugh.
And fishy and salty. Wow.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to eat that with the pizza instead of...
So that was gross. I mean, if you haven't had anchovies, I keep tasting it. Every time I speak, the air comes out of my lungs and hits it and wafts it up a little bit. If you haven't had anchovies before, I mean, these seem like they're dried. I've seen them on, like, nicer pizzas before, where they're, like, just fresh up, still wet, like, just caught them out of the river or wherever the fuck anchovies live. The river's flowing through hell. But, like, these are kind of, like, freeze-dried a little bit, or something, I don't know. It tasted really sandy. And, like I said, it fell off when I put it in my mouth, so I pushed it back up with my tongue and bit straight into it and just got, like...
Nothing but fish?
Yeah, like a really strong fish, like... Not catfish, because catfish is alright, but, like... What's a really strong fish? Cod? No, cod's, like, a lighter fish. I don't know. I like fish, just not...
I don't know. I'm not a big fish eater, so...
So, if you never tried anchovies on a pizza before, but you found yourself sitting, eating a pizza and saying, this pizza's alright, but I wish it tasted like really old fish, then try anchovies, because it's the thing for you.
If you're eating them on your own, they are overwhelmingly salty. But for me, I didn't really notice it a whole lot. I get a fishy aftertaste in my mouth, but other than that, it blended right in with the pizza for me.
I have little bits and pieces still in my teeth. I'm trying to clean out my teeth and I keep getting little bits.
Right.
That's gross.
Alright, well I guess I'll finish that guy off.
Can I see your lighter? I need a cigarette to cleanse my palate. Like all the great chefs do.
Yep.
Smoke a cigarette to cleanse their palate. I don't know, what would have made that better? Like, you're licking your fingers, so you clearly didn't think it was that gross.
I just pulled a piece off of my pants and ate it. That was straight up.
An anchovy piece?
Yeah. I'm only licking my fingers just because there's stuff all over them and I'm fat.
You're hungry. Somebody has a pizza. It's a full anchovy pizza. The only and you can't pick the anchovies off.
I wouldn't mind eating it.
You would eat it?
Yeah, totally.
Ugh.
I mean, it might depend on how many anchovies were on it.
What if it was just a giant anchovy? Would you blow a giant anchovy, man? If you were really hungry.
Yes.
And he came pizza.
Probably. No, even just eating that piece of anchovy, if you can get it into where you're not getting hit with the salt, on that different portion of your tongue that tastes less of the saltiness.
See, all I could taste was overwhelming fish.
Yeah.
I think maybe if there was like mushrooms and onions and
something
hot
to kill
peppers.
the flavor with.
Yeah, so you just got like a little twinge and then it was overpowered with onion or hot pepper.
Yeah.
I think that would be alright. Or maybe mushrooms too.
Yeah.
Because they have kind of the same texture.
Yeah.
I don't know, mine it was like freeze-dried. It tastes like, I don't know, it was
again, it's been
sandy.
sitting here for 2 hours.
Well, yeah, true.
So, I mean, there's that.
They were actually swimming when we first got the pizza.
Yeah. But, I'll probably finish that off.
All of it? Like all of the anchovy pieces?
Yeah, probably.
Gross.
Yeah.
Will Ginger try it?
No. Not a chance in hell.
Well, she's a really picky eater too, isn't she?
She's not a fish eater either. If it's not processed and fried, she's not interested.
Alright, we've been going for a decent amount. Here's some other stuff I have on Ninja Turtles real quick. Just some interesting little facts I got down.
Okay.
The end fight scene in the first movie, which takes place on rooftops and the streets
Yeah.
It's been forever since I've seen the movie, so I can't say exactly what's happening, but it just said the in-fight scene is a reused set from Big Trouble in Little China.
Nice.
Have you seen that movie?
Oh,
I
yeah.
have not.
I have.
Is it worth seeing? Is it funny?
If you like B-rate movies.
Because he's, like, kind of a douchey B-rate sort of Indiana Jones, Han Solo-y type who goes to China because there's some trouble there of a
well,
larger variety.
Little Chinatown. He's a truck driver. And
Is there magic and shit?
yes, and terrible effects.
Nice.
Yep. You would probably
I
watch
probably
it for
would.
the-
I like those kind of movies. Yeah. A lot of Ninja Turtles was shot on a farm,
Yes.
the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this was...
that was the dead section of that movie.
I thought this was really funny. Where the farm was directly underneath a flight path.
Oh, yeah?
And the radios from the airplanes would fuck with the animatronics on the turtles. So occasionally they'd have to stop because the mouths and faces would just start twitching uncontrollably. Which would be hilarious to see in a deleted scene.
Yeah,
I don't know if Ninja Turtles has been released or re-released on Blu-ray, but I would love to see those movies with the director's commentary and, a lot of the outtakes and stuff would be really good, I bet.
Yeah, I bet.
Shredder, the character of Shredder, was inspired by a cheese grater.
Okay.
One of the creators, it's listed. I got a lot of my news. I searched, because I'm a big, heavy into research. I Googled fun Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles facts. So I got these from a couple different sites. I don't remember what they were. I guess it's kind of shitty. I'm not.
We're not
saying
journalists.
where the site is. But if you Google it, it's going to be like, I didn't even go past like the first 5 links.
Right.
So if you do that and you find them, you'll probably find this. It was inspired by one of the 2 creators. I didn't write down who it was, who was doing dishes and saw one of those weird triangular shaped cheese graters.
Yeah.
And said, wouldn't it be crazy if a bad guy had these on his arms? And that's where the original Shredder came from, the design. Because, Shredder has the armbands with the hooked things on. And Shredder's original name was the Grater, or Great Man. Those were his original design names.
Wow, that's really bad.
Yeah. The Ninja Turtles, you can look up on YouTube. It's hilarious. In the early to mid-90s, they did a live tour, the Coming Out of Their Shells tour. Mm-hmm. You can find a video of it on YouTube. I showed you a second of it, Rem.
Yeah.
And it is hilarious. They're like guys in full suits with the animatronics. They don't have their shells on. They're dressed like really lame. It's like a record executive's idea of what's cool and hip in the 90s. So take like all the stupid 90s fashion and amplify it, and that's what they're dressed like.
Right.
They're playing like fake, clearly rubber guitars and dancing around and stuff.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see those as a kid, I'm sure. I don't even think I knew they existed.
Yeah, neither did I.
In the UK, do you know what Ninja Turtles was called?
What?
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Okay.
Because the word ninja was deemed too violent for a kid's show. So you can also, again on YouTube, you can look up, I guess we can just link some of these on the Dueling Ogres site, the Facebook page. It was the exact same theme song, but with Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Mm-hmm. And Michelangelo's nunchucks. Everybody else's weapons were fine, but Michelangelo's nunchucks were replaced with a grappling hook because nunchucks weren't allowed in movies and things under rated R for some reason. I don't know if they had like a big, in the early 90s in the UK, a big nunchuck outbreak. A lot of nunchuck attacks.
I mean, that's when a lot of the, the 80s and early 90s, wasn't that the punk scene? And didn't they use a lot of just bludgeoning weapons?
The punk scene was in like the 70s in
was
the
it?
UK.
Was it that early?
Like
Okay.
the Sex Pistols and stuff.
Okay. I know that they used a lot of bludgeoning weapons for stuff. So.
Well, I think that, you hear a lot talking about the UK and the nanny state, and, the government tries to protect people more than a lot of people feel that they should with, like, not letting them see certain things and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think that might have been part of it, too.
Right.
Just like, well, we don't need to see them. It's just hilarious, because one of them carried a fucking sword. 2 swords.
Yeah.
So I don't know why nunchucks...
Katanas
I don't know why...
are okay.
Yeah, but nunchucks aren't
are?
okay. So a grappling hook. I mean, how the fuck do you fight with a grappling hook?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see in certain circumstances you hit somebody with it or whatever, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe I should look up, I'm sure I could find on YouTube an episode where Michelangelo uses that grappling hook in, some crazy ninja ways.
Right.
I don't know. There's been a few mangas, how do you pronounce it? Manga of Ninja Turtles. The first one was called Mutant Turtles.
Okay.
Or in Japan, Mutanto Toturuzu. Or the next one, Super Turtles.
Okay.
Super Toturuzu. My voice just does that automatically. I don't know. It's weird. It's like my larynx is a transformer. Yeah, I mean, I have some other stuff, but none of it's really that big of a deal. Ninja Turtles, before Blair Witch Project came along, it was the highest grossing indie film of all time.
Huh.
The first Ninja Turtles movie made $135 million.
Wow.
From a $13.5 million budget. Real quick, when you watch the new trailer for the Ninja Turtles movie, there's a song that's featured, a new Turtles rap, and I think anybody from the 90s knows the Vanilla
Go Ninja,
Ice.
go Ninja, go! Go
Yeah.
Ninja, go Ninja, go!
So there's a new Turtle rap. I thought it was awful, and then I had you play it before we started recording, and it's not that bad.
Right.
I mean, I kind of hate how most popular music is going more towards the, like, dubstep. Like, they have to add in the, like,
right.
in every song, but it's really not that bad. It's called Shell Shocked by Juicy J, Wiz Khalifa, and Ty Dolla Sign. Dolla Sign, and the S is a dollar sign.
Right.
Vanilla Ice, who did the original Go Ninja Go, commented on the
New song.
and said, with respect to all of the artists, that's Vanilla Ice, right?
Sure.
With respect to all of the artists, the song doesn't really do it for me. It feels a little artificial. What I mean by that, just love he's explaining artificial. What I mean by that is that it sounds like a bunch of executives in the corporate world put it together. It really does not fit the theme of the Ninja Turtles legend.
Because his did.
Oh yeah, he wasn't an entirely manufactured thing with executives, but I guess he found, like, somebody, went to his little Vanilla Ice cave, his hovel where he lives now underneath a cardboard box, and, friends with squirrels fighting over scraps with mongrels.
You better be careful, because I've seen him, and he could probably whip your ass.
Oh, I'm sure he could. But, I mean, if he deems it to whip my ass because I said that he's not relevant anymore, I mean, am I wrong in that aspect? No. He's absolutely not relevant anymore.
No.
Yeah, and then the Turtle Power song from one of the other movies by a band called Partners in Crime, crime spelled K-R-Y-M-E, which did the T-U-R-T-L-E power, T-U-R-T-L-E power.
Yeah.
That was their one hit there.
Right.
I mean, I didn't go over, there's been a bunch of Ninja Turtles cartoons after the original.
Yeah, definitely.
There was the live action one that ran during Power Rangers in, like, junior high or maybe a little earlier in, like, the late 90s.
I don't remember
that. Added the girl turtle, Venus de Milo. Did you ever see that? She wore, like, kind of an off purple,
right.
which was weird because out of all the colors in the spectrum, they gave her the same color as somebody else, only sort of off.
Yeah.
And her weapon was smoke bombs.
Uh-huh.
She was a ninja, like a full-on ninja.
Didn't she come from Turtles 3, the movie?
I don't think so. I don't remember, though. I know that, I think it's Peter Laird who still has control. Kevin Eastman sold his portion of it a while ago.
Yeah.
And so Peter Laird has kind of had his hands in a lot of the Ninja Turtle stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
And he says, like, he pulled her after the third season, I think, of that show. They wrote her out with absolutely no explanation of where she was. And it's one of those things that, in interviews I've read with other people who've worked with him, who've said, you do not bring up her around him. He hated her when she was created. He still hates her. He thinks it's the worst thing that ever happened in Ninja Turtles. And that's including Vanilla Ice.
Oh, nice. All right, well, we will never mention Venus de Milo again.
You mentioned the Ninja Turtles game that you played.
Right, Turtles in Time.
Yeah, there's been a fuck ton of Ninja Turtles games. I've never played, or I bet I have, I don't remember, the original one for the Nintendo that's notoriously hard. There's an underwater sewer level. You can watch all kinds of videos online of people trying to beat it, and it's like a timed level, you can't touch the walls. It's almost game-breaking in how difficult it is. There were those, like I said, there's been a bunch of Ninja Turtles games. There was one released at the tail end of last year on Xbox Live Arcade, and I think PS3 also you could download. That was like a third person, up to 4 people could play, straight beat 'em up. And you, like, as you played, you leveled up your turtle and could get new weapons and stuff for it.
Yeah.
It got bad reviews. I fucking loved it. It was so much fun. I didn't even play multiplayer. I think I got Bree one time to jump on a second controller and play it for a few.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just straight up button mashing beat 'em up, but it is a lot of fun. If you ever catch it on sale, I think it's just called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's done in the style of the currently running Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Right.
I'd recommend checking it out. I bought it for $15.
Yeah.
$15 might be a little high for it. I don't know.
But if you can get
I'd say if you
sale.
find it like 10 or 5, absolutely get it. And I think just like a lot of the Ninja Turtles arcade games, it's only going to get more fun when you have more people.
Right.
Have you seen the Nickelodeon Turtles cartoon? It's like currently running.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen maybe a couple episodes, but it's been a little while, because it's been running for a little while, right?
A few years, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the cartoon, but I've been picking up some of the toys.
Yeah.
If you played with Ninja Turtles toys as a kid, or want to like pick up something from your nostalgia, definitely get these toys. I've only so far bought the original Turtles. I wanted to buy a Krang. I was at Walmart and I could have. I ended up buying, I think, Magic cards instead because, I'm 10.
Right.
But I regret to this day because I don't think I can find him anymore without ordering him.
Oh, yeah.
The toys are really, really well made. Like, they're superposable. They come with a shit ton of weapons. And the weapons still come in like that plastic thing that you have to roll out.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend those. That's really all I have as far as notes go. I mean, Ninja Turtles are awesome. Hopefully the movie's...
Good wrap up.
Hopefully the movie's good. Oh yeah, I want to show you this real quick. Ninja Turtles is coming out September 11th. The newest movie. Release date, September 11th.
I thought they moved it up to August 8th.
I think August 8th was the original release date, and now they're September 11th. Because this poster I have here was just released a few days ago.
No. That is the release date for overseas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a big stink about this movie poster.
Yeah, I was going to show it to you. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah, I've seen it, and I've...
The poster, if you haven't seen it, has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, release date September 11th.
Right.
And the poster is the 4 turtles leaping out of a very tall building in New York as the building explodes behind them, and you see the silhouettes of people flying out of the top of the building.
Yep.
On release date September 11th.
Yep.
I'm just amazed at the oversight of somebody who would say, like...
Well, number one, it was an overseas poster.
Yeah, but with the advent of the internet and everything, everybody's
agree.
going to see it.
Number two, I mean, it's one building. There's no plane. There are a lot of tall buildings in New York.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying specifically that I find it super offensive.
Right.
I'm just saying that you would think if they're releasing a poster for a movie that comes out September 11th, and September 11th is featured on the poster, that they would maybe find a different way to show the action than them leaping out of an exploding building as the bodies of other people fly out of the building.
Yeah, I agree that it was a huge oversight by whatever marketing person who did that.
Maybe they thought, like, we can mock September 11th now, right? It's been long enough.
Right. Comedians have been doing it for the past 10 years.
All right, I wanted to do a shout-out.
Right.
This was somebody that commented, was one of the first people, actually, that commented on listening to an episode, and I just totally blanked on giving him a shout-out to Travis. He was actually the first person who messaged me in, like, episode 5 or 6 that we put up that said, hey, I listened to it, really enjoyed it, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. So, shout out to him on the Facebook page. He also came back this weekend from a retro gaming convention, which I tried to convince you to go to.
Yeah.
But you had work and shit.
Yeah.
And bought me a copy of my favorite Super Nintendo game, Maximum Carnage.
Nice.
Which is an awesome game. I played it last night, even putting in the few cheat codes that they have available for this game.
Right.
Which gives you 5 lives instead of 3, and 5 continues instead of 3.
Yeah.
I made it about halfway through the game before I died.
Nice.
And once you're out of continues, it's just like, good luck, start from the beginning. So it's probably going to be a few days before I play it again, but I've made a promise to myself that I'm going to finally beat this game.
Do it.
I made it further than I ever did as a kid.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That's good.
Yeah, so shout out to Travis. We're also having a contest this week.
Right.
Maybe stemming into next week if we don't get enough responses.
Right.
What we're doing is we want you to leave a comment on our Facebook page telling us who your favorite Ninja Turtle is and why they are your favorite Ninja Turtle. We're going to pick the best of those comments, and that person we're going to ship a picture that I did months ago. I'll post them. I've already uploaded them to Facebook. I'll post them on the page so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I did a couple dry pastels drawings of Leonardo and Michelangelo.
Right.
So we're going to pick our favorite comments, and out of those two, if we pick you can choose which of those 2 pictures you want. We'll send them to you.
Right.
And then if there's enough decent responses, then we might do, a second too.
Okay.
Like pick our 2 top favorite, let them pick first, and the other one can get the other picture.
Right. Sounds good to me.
Make sure to leave a comment. Let us know.
Yep. Pick your favorite turtle and tell us why. And our final shout out goes to all of you who are listening and who are liking us on Facebook and so on. You can find the video of us trying anchovies for the first time on our YouTube page, and you can follow us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres. So, until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt and your tusks sharp.
Good night.
Good night. Is that better?
That's good. Better than what was your first one? Keep your clubs waxed.
Keep your clubs sharp, or keep your clubs blunt and your tusks sharp.
And that's professional as fuck. You did that well. Until the laugh at the end.
Yeah, thanks.
That was good. I like how you went back for more pizza. That's so gross.
Well, I mean, I've already eaten the anchovies off of it. So.
Yeah, alright. You're a disgusting individual. Anything else, too? Leave us comments on what you did with Ninja Turtle. I'm just trailing off. I don't know. You can cut that out. Okay. You can put it at the end.
And our final shout out.
Put you at the end. Put you in my ass. Can I see your lighter, please?
No. Not now. And our fighter. And our.
And our fighter final.
And our
final fighter firefighters.